Hey YouTube land, Untitled there doing another action figure review. Now today I'm excited to be reviewing this one for you. This is the Aliens Exquisite Mini Alien Queen. Sorry, Alien Queen. Unfortunately, when they were making these, they made a mass screw up with the Alien name, and a lot of the Alien Queen boxes went out with Alien Queen on the box, similar to what I reviewed when I did I think it was the Alien Warrior, that also had the same misprint on it for some reason. So these figures are for 15 plus, as indicated in the bottom of the box here. These are made by the company called Hiya Toys. I got this one from Big Bad Toy Store. There's two other, I think there might be three. There's two other versions of an Alien Queen that are, I'm not sure if they're released yet, or at least at the time of this recording they're still pre-ordered. So there is a brown deco version of, at least I think it's this one, or could be the AVP Queen, but I think it's this version in a sort of brown deco for the Aliens Resurrection line, which essentially reused the same Alien Queen design in the movie. And then there's the AVP Queen, and I think there's two versions of the AVP Queen. There's the standard version of her, and I think there's a battle damage version of her as well, but I'm not too sure on that. So I think in total they have like 4 Alien Queens, including this one. It could be 3. It could be just the Aliens version, the Alien Resurrection version, and the AVP version. But that's beside the point. This is the review for this one. So flipping around the back of the box, you don't get any images of this thing, which is kind of interesting, because usually Hiya Toys will put an image of the figure on the back of the box, but this time around they didn't. So I'm going to actually, she's not actually in the box, but I'm going to open the box so you can see how she is packaged. Because she comes with a tray, she comes with some leaflets, well, just the one leaflet. And once you get through that, I'm going to crack her, bring her out, and you can see what she looks like. So the pamphlet you get is basically how to attach the 6 dorsal spines that are on her back. They were a pain in the ass, and I will get into that when I get her out on the actual review part. But this is the way she's packaged in front. Yes, I think it's this way. So you have there's one piece still in the box, which is her extended mouth. She has a smaller mouth. She has, unlike the aliens themselves, she doesn't have the inner working mouth that pops out. So she comes in a tray with this, and then there's a separate tray behind her, which comes with all dorsal spines, which are these. They also come with these base plates, which you have to assemble together to make the stand for her. And then up here is these H or I connectors that actually connect this base together. So give me a second, I'm gonna pause there, get her out, and we will see her in action. And here she is in all her Alien Queen glory. So while I was getting this set up, I realized that her base piece is actually slightly broken. So if I just move her off, she doesn't really stand too well without it. There is this base piece here, and at the bottom of here you can see it's actually after already cracking. So it's actually 2 pieces. Remember, is it 2 pieces? Actually, I think it's 1 piece. Sorry, it's 1 piece. So this has a plug here on the bottom. There's a hole here that you can plug into any one of these foot pegs. These are normally foot pegs for the alien figures, so they're supposed to fit into one of those pegs. And then the way you do it then is she's supposed to sit on them. She doesn't really plug into it, she just kind of rests on it. So unfortunately she is a bit heavy, and she has managed to snap a bit of the peg off, which is great. So she is an awkwardly skinny figure, which is true to how the Alien Queen looks in the movie, which is kind of detrimental to her overall design for as a figure for balancing issues. I know NECA's one even has that. I think NECA's one has a stand as well that they used. Now, this one actually has a lot of nods with the NECA figure, in the sense that you have the jaws that are removable instead of an actual inner working jaw. I think NECA's one has the exact same thing. You have a jaw that has a plug on it, and it just plugs into a peg on the inside of the mount. Let me see if I get the right way around. Now, it can be very cumbersome because she has a lot of articulation points and her head likes to move around. And if you grab her by the top of the crown up here, this thing actually moves forward and back, so it will slide on you while you're trying to actually attach her mouth into her head. So she has a super extended version of her mouth. She has a very small extended version of her mouth. Now, you can't close the jaws when this is actually in her mouth. The way it's designed is that if these are out, you can actually close her jaws, but when that smaller piece is in her mouth, it will prevent it from closing. She has a lot of articulation. Her head is on a ball joint, so you can move it around. So you can actually remove her headpiece forward, goes all the way forward and covers her head. And she does that thing in the movie. If I bring her real close to the thing and do the way it does it in the movie, where it slides back and reveals her head, and she has the opening jaw, so it's quite good. You could probably use this for stop motion. There's so many articulation points on it. The only issue you would have would be the balancing issue. She has a secondary joint here at the base of the neck. She has another joint here at the base of the head, base of the neck, I would imagine. Then she has these annoying things that you have to plug in. The reason these are really annoying to plug in, and I'm hoping I have them the right way around, is because they're a sort of rubbery plastic. They're kind of flexible, so when you're trying to heat them up to put them in, they're just bending all over the place. So there is that. It does hinder her, it does get in the way. She has quite nice articulation points on the arms. She has rotating at the elbow. She has a joint at the elbow. She has a rotating hand and a slight bend at the wrists. Unlike the other alien figures, she doesn't have alternate hands. She just has the hands that she comes with. The smaller booby hands are on a hinge, but that's the only articulation point they have. There is an additional articulation on the wrists themselves, or on the elbows. Her legs can splay out. They're on a ball joint, and they can kick forward. She has a hinge here and a hinge here. She has that chicken leg thing going on. She also has a hinge on just above here, which is actually hinged as well. And then she has the good old bendy wire tail, which is quite nice. Overall, she is a nice figure. Now, she doesn't have peg holes on the bottom of her feet, which probably would have helped to add that this to her to actually stand a little bit better, because if you could peg it in and then have her resting on this bar piece, so you can get her to stand up on it. It is designed to take her weight, but it isn't the best. So, like, overall, she looks really, really good. Now, unfortunately, in my haste for getting over to redo a recording, I didn't bring over one of my Colonial Marine figures. So, for size comparisons, I'm just gonna have to make do with good old Jungle Hunter. This is the first version Jungle Hunter. I'm waiting on the V2 to arrive. So here is the Hiya Toys Jungle Hunter. This is at least a xenomorph, but it's not the Aliens versions. This is the Alien Covenant version. So just to give a rough idea of scale. So she does scale quite nicely to them. If I can get it to stand, it is a pain in the butt to stand because it's all spindly and small, and the joints are gotten a little bit loose on her. For some non-Hiya Toys figures, here is Batman from the Spin Masters line. One more Hiya toys, which is the battle damaged Robocop tree from Robocop. As he's sitting next to me, and I haven't had a chance to review him yet, but hopefully he won't break apart while I bring him in. I got good old Boba from Return of the Jedi, which is the one with the red. Actually, I think I did review this one. I did the two together, so yeah, I did review this one. I just haven't gotten the taller 6-inch version of him reviewed. So he can stand there. Batman can stand there. Predator can stand there. I don't know why his trophy thing keeps on slip off his shoulder. And then for a G.I. Joe figure, because I have one handy, we have San Diego Comic-Con Baroness. That was the one that came at Ravage. And she has the little microphone sculpted on her, so you can see a scale comparison. Actually, if I just knock the camera down a bit, so bear with me. So get the Queen in shot. So you can see how big she is. Now she is standing on the stand, so you have to take about 10 centimeters, not nice, probably a few centimeters off it for that. If I was to try stand her without that, in fact, it may just work. Let me try it, because the foot peg, this is either going to be a complete disaster or it will work. So let me move the base out of the way, because these Fortnite stands that I have actually has a peg hole system on it. Hopefully, within reason, it probably won't work. No, unfortunately the peg holes are too big. I might just be able to get her to stand. Yes. And she will probably fall over it, collapsing on top of everything and knocking everything over. But we'll try and get everything to stand with her that I had standing. Ooh, Bubba. You're gonna be the death of you. Come on, get your leg in. Trying to get his leg to stand is going to be a pain. There we go. And I don't think the alien will stand, because it was actually standing on the base, or leaning against the base a bit. No, you. No. It doesn't have foot pegs, so yeah, I'll just have to hold it. Yeah. So you get the general idea of how big this thing is. Now, I do have something to compare it with, which was designed as part of a 4-inch snap fit line, which is technically what the scale should be. And I'm not sure which one is more true to scale. So if I move these guys out of the way and wait for everything to come crashing down and tumble and fall, which will happen, so I'm just going to move her jaws out of the way because they're so small. I'm feeling if they fall off the table, they will be missing for the rest of its existence. So here is crud. One piece fell off already. I can find it. She's a bit fragile. She's very fragile, actually. This is the Hot Toys Snap Kit Alien Queen from AVP. So this thing is absolutely massive. She doesn't stand too well because she's actually designed to have there's a hole in the back here where there should be a actual stand plugged into her, and she doesn't get the best range of distance with the feet for standing. So I'm going to see if we can try and balance her a bit. Might just have to get her to lean against the display at the back here and bring in the Queen's base and try and get her to stand. next to her, so you can get a size comparison. So I'm gonna have to tilt up my camera again, because that's how big the AVP Queen Snap Fit figure from Hot Toys was compared to the Hiya Toys one. Now I'm not sure which one is more scale accurate, and the Hot Toys one has major issues in the sense that it's very cumbersome to stand, but so is the Hiya Toys one. The joints are quite fragile on it. This is actually my second version. The first version of it, this neck ring, where it joins her head to her, the head to the body, is actually a rubber piece, and it, like, over time it actually deteriorates quite rapidly. So this is actually my second version of her, and I gave one of them to my buddy for free, because he's a big Aliens fan as well, and I'm not sure if the one that he gave that he has broken yet. But overall, you can see the scale difference between these ones. Now the paint apps on the Hiya Toys is way more movie accurate to the Alien Queen from Aliens, which is quite nice. I didn't really go over the paint accuracy. So you have this kind of paint, see, it has translucent teeth anyway to start off with, which is quite nice, which is how the Alien Queen's teeth are actually done on the maquette that they used for the film. So she actually has that. You have this kind of airbrushing going on the head crest, which is quite nice. Goes into this blue. Again, you have this kind of airbrushed kind of blue all over her, which is pretty much more movie accurate. You have the silver talons on her claws. You have a bit of silver on her feet, which is quite nice. You even have that kind of shading going on along the tail. The tail tip is just a blue, but it's really nicely done. The one from the Hot Toys is just pretty much metallic blue with a dry brush of silver here and there. So there's not as much accuracy on the sculpt, or on the paint apps, I should say. The sculpt is actually quite accurate as well. It's pretty much a different designed queen. If you look at the actual Hiya Toys AVP Queen that's due out, there is actually quite a few subtle differences between the two. So there is that. I always thought the queen model that they used in AVP was the exact same one that they used from Aliens, but it's actually not. They actually redesigned her slightly. So there's slight tweaks here and there, and I think they made her a bit more bulky, just because I think it was easier for them to animate her with animatronics, but more modern animatronics than it was with the older stuff. But that's beside the point. So overall, she is quite a nice queen, the Hiya Toys one. Scale wise, as I said, I'm not sure which one is more accurate. The AVP one I do love. It just has a bigger, menacing, imposing feel to it. Even though this one is, the Hiya Toys one is just as nasty looking. I do have the NECA Queen, but I don't have her here to pull out to compare her with. But if I did, she would be bigger than this one again, than the Hot Toys one. So I know that for a fact. Articulation wise, this one wins straight out. The Hot Toys one has no elbow articulation on the larger arms. It has no leg articulation other than the hip. So this one just wins straight out for articulation, and it doesn't even have the sliding or opening jaw. The mouth on the Hot Toys one is actually molded shut, so you don't even get to see the inner jaw mechanism. Saying that, the inner jaw mechanism on this is, even though it's nice, it is a bit annoying at times, because trying to fit the smaller jaw piece is really cumbersome, and trying to fit those back spines, those back spines can be very iffy. I'm not sure if all the queens will have that issue. It could be just mine, but it is something to be wary of. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this quick, well, I hope it's not too quick. I hope you enjoyed this video review for the Alien Queen from Hiya Toys. Overall, I would give it, if I had to give it out of 10, I'd give it maybe a 7 out of 10 for those points that I mentioned. You know, the fragility of these, or fragility of the spiny bits on the back. Unfortunately, the base piece broke, which is kind of annoying. I probably will be able to glue it back together to fix it. And that jaw thing is just, it's really cool, but I kind of wish they could have incorporated an extending jaw from inside the mouth. I know it's probably really hard to do because of the way the creature is designed, but it would have been nicer than having to replace the inner jaw bit, or just have a molded closed mouth. But we'll see what the next versions of her that come out will be like. They might be able to incorporate something into her that has an extending mouth like on the smaller figures. In fact, if I just quickly bring in the other one, you might be able to see what I mean by getting its mouth to come out, which probably won't work on screen now because I said it. Come on. There's an extending inner jaw on this one, but it's really annoying to get out as well. So I suppose there is that trade-off, that you don't have to be messing around with it, but you can easily lose those pieces. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review, and I hope it was interesting and informative. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel to grow my channel so I can make more content for you and create more videos. Hope you enjoyed this. Cheers, guys.